male leadership when it comes to business. So I've got male leadership experts with me today, Mike Foster. He's the host of the Man to Men podcast, and he's also a mentor on mentorbusiness.com, specializing in what the modern man needs to be doing today to be able to accelerate in business and accelerate in life, and what real relationships do that are aligned to real men's goals. See, a lot of the stuff that we see on Manosphere, or Manosphere, whatever it is on Netflix currently, is that, are they teaching the right lessons to young men? That was the general gist of it. So the podcast today, as always, is about the real lessons in business that we need to learn earlier before we learn them too late. So we're fast forward and saving people 10 years of their life. Now, what I find as a business coach is that a lot of people don't just want all the luxury things that we see on Instagram and TikTok. They want the actual things that are going to make them happy. And these sort of things are, do they have the relationships with their, and this isn't just for men as well, it's also for women as well. But we're talking about men today as the Manosphere. Do they have the relationships with that dream family they want? Do they have the holidays that they get to go and experience good times with? And who is the woman behind the man as well? And a lot of successful people I've met, the most successful people I've met, they aren't just about the millions that they make. They are about the people and what they create as a family behind it. So, Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about your background and what qualifies you on your journey as an entrepreneur, business owner, and why you got into doing this stuff with men's mentoring.
Well, coming from a background of fitness, it kind of speaks to what they said in the Manosphere, where it's a kind of a stepping stone into what they became. And what I found with fitness was it led me down a path that I was able to kind of hold myself to a higher standard. It taught me discipline. It taught me a means in which to focus my mind. And then I went on, I met my ex-wife and we had a family. And with that came its own challenges as a father and as a husband. And then myself and my ex-wife split up, and it led to a lot of soul searching and what I was and who I represented and what I represented. And just as a fitness coach that just wasn't really the be all and end all of what I was. It was first and foremost, I was supposed to be a father and a husband. And without that supportive network behind me and without that solid network behind me, I was just a lost sheep, essentially. And I think that really speaks into the Manosphere, where these young men are very lost. And I came into this later into my 30s. And then I met my fiance, and she showed me and helped me shape my feeling towards how I led myself, how I led my business, and how I led our family. And it's without that support network that I didn't thrive. I struggled. I was leaderless, essentially. I didn't know who I was as a person. And I came to this in my 30s. So these young men in their early 20s, late teens, who are following these people in the Manosphere, how are they supposed to know where they go? Where it took me until I got into my 30s. And they're using fitness as the in, and then they start being fed all these things because they think physical strength is dominance, and they've never really seen adversity. And you're constantly presented adversity in a family unit. And if you can't help lead that family unit through that adversity, how can you be a leader beyond the family unit?
Mm-hmm. So what led you to do what you are today then, and working with, it's not just young men, it's men of all ages as well. People, just because you're 40, 50, 60, and you may have been in business 40 years, there's also the saying that you've been in business 1 year 40 times. And this is a bit like relationships as well. And what you're saying here is that a lot of the successful people that you've met before, there is somebody that's backing them. There's a lot of underpinning things. The male role models that they may have in their life as well have had a big impact in their success today. So there's this this multitude of things that's going on in someone's background, rather than the tip of the iceberg of what makes them successful. And let's go on to the Manosphere before we go into the deeper depth of the podcast. What was your thoughts when you saw that then?
Well, the first 14, 15 minutes, I had to stop it.
Go on.
It was
it?
It was as these young men trying to represent men as a whole. I felt misrepresented personally, because while they have vast amounts of wealth and maybe a bit of popularity and whatever, it just didn't feel like that was what I've taught my boys, and what my girls, what a man is and should be. And I could feel myself getting riled up. I had to come back to about 3 or 4 times, and then eventually I sat there and took notes. What was driving these people, and a lot of the things I took from it was they were leaderless themselves.
What the people on the Manosphere show was leaderless themselves.
Yeah, well, they it was touched on. Louis Theroux touched on there was a lack of father figures.
Yeah,
and that really struck a chord to me, because I have a bit of a fractious relationship with my father, but he was still there, and I could have gone either way. But the fact he was still there showed me a certain amount of discipline, and I wasn't rudderless essentially on the boat. I was able to carry on sailing in a normal way. But these young men didn't have these guides, these father figures in which to look up to and guide them. And maybe just kind of
from the show, just so anybody who hasn't seen the show or may have forgot, these are 13-year-old, 15-year-old young men, right? They're going into that stage. And at that point in psychology, we are leaving well, okay, the family have got us here so far. They're not cool anymore. Who do we look up to in business? And if there's the absence of that, where do we go, right? We just learned from what's happening right now. I mean, there's so many instances of this happening, not just in men, but in women as well, of where do they go when they want to find their own identity. So a bit about your backstory then, mate. When you was at their age, these 13-year-old, 15-year-olds, and let's say they had TikTok and Instagram, well, you were younger than me, mate. They probably did. What were you experiencing?
I got to admit, I was a bit of a nerd when I was a kid.
People are as well. I mean,
I was sat there watching Match of the Day later on a Saturday night instead of going out on the drink, or in the car parks, sat there drinking White Lightning. But I was very lucky that although my father and I had this fractious relationship, it was still very much led. I had boundaries, clear boundaries in which I couldn't overstep. And much like how I found in business, that there were certain things that would, if you strayed over that boundary, you're kind of leaderless. You're not knowing where you're going, and you're kind of brought on the straight and narrow by having those clear boundaries and having a clear goal. And my father wanted me to be educated. He wanted me to be part of the family business. So he kind of pushed me in that direction. Whereas these young men are just finding whichever path they can and following it without actually someone giving them moral boundaries.
It's cool.
Pardon, sorry?
Do you think so, or do you think because it's cool and it's something that they want to be seen doing as well?
I think that they're sold a dream that money, cars, women, this lifestyle where you're on the beach and all that. It's kind of the dream of every young man to have fast cars, fast women, fast money. And without the kind of leadership and teachings that people can give you, whether it be a mother figure or a father figure, mainly a father figure, and science tells us that having a father figure helps young men. Without that, we will just go, oh, let's try and get to that bit wherever we can. It's
a bit like in business as well, though, mate, is that working with the business owners, they don't know what good looks like until they see what good is. Okay, so everyone thinks that, oh, they're doing really well and there could be hustle mode, and let's work 70, 80 hours. But when I see them and I'm like, oh man, I've been there before when I was like in my early 20s, and that stuff got me fucking nowhere. It made me look good. It made me feel important, but the result was zero. In fact, it led me to depression in my 20s as a young man, because I thought I had this, and I'm talking probably older than the people that you see on Manosphere right now. You know, the chap was 23. One of the main guys was there at 23. You know, I was approaching like 25, 26, and I'm going, well, why can't I keep a relationship for longer than a week? Why am I going out every weekend partying like what it looks like on social media, and then feeling shit on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? I mean, it looks great on a Saturday night, but then when it comes to your work, I mean, I was employee back then. I went from employee to business owner and started my own stuff, and the amount of failed businesses, but it looked good on paper. It looked good on social media. And you're seeing it now to the extreme. You're seeing the rented Lambos. You're seeing these holidays where I was speaking to an influencer the other day. I went, how do you always go to nice places? I don't. I go there for 1 week, take a load of footage, and then I use that for the whole year. And this is the world that it's becoming now. The real entrepreneurs aren't fucking about trying to be someone they're not. The authenticity that comes through is what is going to drive them through. Because if you ask me or you, Mike, to get up on stage now and do a presentation about this, yeah, we had no show notes for this. We're just ready to go.
Yeah.
Because we've done it. We're experiencing it. If you're faking it, you're going to get called out in business. Then you wonder where all your clients are. Talking about how much money they make and stuff like that. No one gives a shit.
But the thing is, what these young men haven't experienced is adversity. Right. It's all fallen in their lap. And,
okay,
you know, they're coming from a point of prosperity. And they've not suffered, excuse me, much like you say, you went through that adversity in your mid-20s. But without that wouldn't have shaped to who you've become now.
Right. Yeah.
And much like my divorce helped shape how I became now, and the fractious relationship that I had with my father, I wouldn't be where I am now. And I don't know many other people that think this way, but no matter what mistake I've made, I never regret a second of anything that's happened, because I've gone through that adversity and come out stronger the other side. But I've had to go through that adversity to ensure that I could prosper, because unless you make these mistakes, you will never learn from them. It's far better to make a mistake and learn than constantly succeed, because then you will grow and you will end up adding layers of teachings and behaviors and boundaries of what you know works and what you know doesn't. While these people are making a lot of money through social media and endorsements, and well, some of them it appears to be doing through fraudulent activity. That's only speculating, but that's the way it was presented.
We've got a comment on TikTok here. Who cares? Manosphere is disrespectful to women. The main takeaway. So what does that do for all men? I mean, do all men who have got this masculinity about them? I mean, it's toxic masculinity versus masculinity, right? We're really debating.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel as a man to know that you're now categorized into the manosphere?
To be honest, it makes me sick. Like I wouldn't be the person I am today without the woman behind me. She helped. I've got a strong fiance who absolutely supports me, and I support her. And a strong woman will always bring out the best in a strong man. And you're not going off trying to get 3 or 4 different wives. This has painted women in a really bad light, saying that they are beneath men, they're weaker than men. Some of the strongest people I know are women.
Yeah.
And I would categorize my fiance as someone who, well, she's probably the strongest woman I've ever met, because she will hold her own. She will hold me to account and hold herself to account. And she won't tolerate toxic behaviors. She won't tolerate absence. If she thinks I'm not stepping up and helping her, she will hold me to account.
Well, she is the leader in her world, and she's the leader.
Exactly.
And this is what really pisses me off, is that because if you look at me and my wife, we've got 3 kids and another one on the way, right? The dream lifestyle that these young men want to achieve, it's very similar in business, right? Make sure the ladder's up the right wall if you want to achieve that goal. The shit that they're doing on a day-to-day, thinking they are going on the right path, is going south to the north, right? If that's what great looks like and they want to achieve that goal, why are they doing this other stuff? It doesn't make sense. So as a team, me and Anna are aligned, right? We are going, this is where we're going. This is what true north looks like. And anything else is interference. And that's very similar in business as well, man. I mean, this is the business podcast, right? So in business, if that's what great looks like as your business goals, thinking about doing another different business, and entrepreneurs suffer with this all the time, right? You're an entrepreneur, Mike. Loads of different ideas come your way, loads of distant distractions. These young men are getting completely distracted of what great relationships look like, great life looks like. Yeah. And they're getting taught by somebody that, you know, I mean, look at the bodybuilding influencers, for example. Mike, you're into fitness as well. Unfortunately, I know a lot of bodybuilders, and I know a lot of the scientists with the bodybuilders as well, and they pass away by the age of 30 because they can't keep that lifestyle up anymore to portray it looking 24/7, 12 months a year with the perfect body. Eventually, it kills you.
Yeah.
And this is what's happening within the business and the manosphere right now. So thank you. By the way, that was Lucy on TikTok with that question. So thank you. You just got a shout out onto the whole podcast and YouTube, etc. So Mike, let's go further then. We're talking about the manosphere within business. How do we, something that I felt like was missing from the manosphere program is, what does good look like? It was quick to slam these men, and I don't agree with any of these men and what they're doing with women, etc. But it wasn't quick to show you what good looks like. What do you think that needs to be in business for a man?
I think, although entrepreneurs are essentially on their own, they're still a sum of all their parts. So they have a team around them, whether that be in the workplace or at home. If you have a chaotic atmosphere at home and or in the workplace, you're not going to thrive. Because, like, I'll use my fiance for example, Kelly. She helps me focus my mind. What is the goal that we want? We want to do this. We want to do that. We want to do the other. Right. Let's toe that path then. Yeah. And she will support. If I'm having a bit of a wobble where I'm feeling a little bit unsatisfied with myself, lacking in confidence, she's the one to pick me up. It's the same within the workplace. As an entrepreneur, if you've got people working for you, it's your job to manage those people, pick them up off the floor if they're having a bad day, put your arm around them. You know, you're the sum of all your parts. Like, my family is very much, I support them, but I come home and I see all my kids' happy faces, knowing that I've been able to supply them with a lifestyle that they love, their food on the table, they're happy. And it's always, I've always said, happy wife, happy life. Because if your wife's happy, they will make you happy. And if you're happy, you are in a far better mental place to be able to go forward. And I think also this breeds from communication. And it seemed in the manosphere that there was very little communication other than that person's communications. I'm telling you, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other, do what I tell you to do, rather than communication both ways. And I think in business, what I find within my business, if I don't communicate with clients, don't communicate with staff, and then when I go home, don't communicate with my wife or my future wife, I'm not going to thrive. I need to communicate properly. And these people don't communicate. As far as I'm aware, they don't appear to be. In the show, it showed that they were unwilling to communicate. They had their views and they weren't willing to discuss. Yeah.
I mean, there is the argument as well. I mean, I'm not here to support the whole ethos of the manosphere, but there is also the argument that was not live on Netflix. The others were live, and they saw that they was also getting trapped into this by Louis Theroux. So I'm not saying he's the good guy right now either, because we all know what mainstream media is like as well. I mean, we're doing lives right now because we want to be authentic, right? There's no, please do not say fuck or bugger. You know, it just happens, you know. There's quite a funny thing that when I speak to people in business and I meet people, they go, yeah, Lewis, we listen to your podcast, but you swear quite a bit. But it's authentic, right? It's just what's happening. And that's what their argument was, is we're going to catch Louis throughout because we're going live and we're going to show Netflix up. Good trying to take on what, $200-300 billion business. You're not going to win, but fair play to them. You know, they did try it.
They tried to push back,
and they've met the right people that follow them. That's the right thing for them. Yeah. Right. But that's what's got them where they are today. For more followers and TikTok followers and more Instagram, there's no doubt about it that we can't just be basic like this, right? I've got like a few hundred followers on TikTok. You've got a lot more than me. You know the game, that you've got to get the hook. You've got to be able to attract them and keep them. And that takes adversity. And it's not good just having like a little text-based hook. Now, you've got to have a visual hook. So if you think about that, and the one lad on there started out just being on YouTube doing some little things. It's gone further and further. How do I get a stronger hook? How do I get more attention? Well, I'm going to go and do something where I'm with a nice background, with a nice property or a nice car to get more attention. Now I'm going to go and sleep with a bunch of women. I'm going to get them to get their boobs out on social media. It's going to get me more attention. It's like it's become a disease, hasn't it?
But the thing is, if you look at it from the social media aspect, they're obviously very talented at knowing what a hook is and what is working there constantly. Like when they talk about, you got 300,000 views on it, and they're very analytical. They're very data driven, and I to be honest, got a lot of respect for that, because that's what we all do.
Smart, yeah.
It's very smart
in today's world.
But the thing is, like the messaging was, it was what's the next extreme? You go so far and you're chasing the next viral bit. You're chasing the next viral, viral. And then it snowballs into, where does the line stop? They've not had someone say, that's probably far enough now. Yeah. You know, you are successful. You are succeeding, you are making money, but now your behaviors go into an extreme where you, while will have a lot of followers, you won't have much respect. And I didn't know about some of these people on there. I know about Andrew Tate, but all the others I didn't know about. And it's brought to light to a different generation of people what that behavior is. And you're going, okay, for us that have been around the block a little bit, we know a boundary where we want to go to, and that's where we'll stay, because that's our ethos, that's our methodology, that is our morals and principles. These people have not got these boundaries. They will continue to go. And like I said, I completely respect the fact that they are analytical and they're looking at the numbers, what every businessman should be doing every single day. But where does it end for their behavior?
Well, this is very similar to Grant Cardone. Anybody knows Grant Cardone? He wrote a book on this, Be Obsessed or Be. Now, for me, I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with Grant Cardone. When I was in a bit of a spot where I didn't have any sort of male role model back in, I think it was about 2018, 2017. No, earlier than that, actually, 2015, because I was living in Australia. I was kind of, there with Anna. She had her family there, and I didn't really know who to turn to. So I found Grant Cardone. I remember his first video. Do you know who Grant Cardone is? Yeah. 10x rule and things. So anybody in the chat, by the way, if you know who Grant Cardone is, do a wave or type if you understand who I'm talking about. The first video I saw of him was him laughing at the camera, saying "fuck you" to his accountant. My accountant is not going to believe he doubted me. This is where I am. And I thought, what an egotistical, But then when I looked into it, that was just the hook to get me in. What I actually looked about him is I learned about his past relationship with drugs and women and alcohol, how he turned his life around and found, his religion, how he found Elena. And I've watched his kids now grow up from 5-year-olds on social media that he shares with them, Scarlett. And they've become great women. Yeah, so he's got 2 girls, and I'm just thinking, well, maybe that's how he's done it right in the light of everything. But there is still elements there that he's had to go and make himself look like this stuff to get where he is today. So,
well, there's a certain amount we've got to push the boundaries to a certain extent with what we're trying to represent. Like being in the fitness industry, I could easily represent steroid abuse, any kind of abuse of performance enhancing drugs, the lifestyle of being, like you said before, 365, 24/7, in amazing shape. But that isn't a representation of what that is for me. If that, fair play, everyone has their own perspectives on it. But knowing where your line is and be able to push it within that is fine. But going to the extremes that these people were talking about, and it's going into misogyny, it's going into all of these different things. Would you want your business represented or perceived as misogynistic, toxic, promoting these behaviors? For me, absolutely not. I would hate for people to think that my gym here is peddling drugs. We don't have mirrors here because we don't want to have people just constantly staring at themselves.
Oh, you're crazy. I can't train without a mirror, mate. That's going to make me look like
I've got a handheld one.
Right now. I can't train with that. I like to see that you know me, mate, when I'm working with you and doing mentoring, what's the data? What's the figures? What's the reflection? What's it saying back to you? How do you do that with that mirror?
Well, what we do is we look at the numbers. We look at the weight, which for me isn't the be all and end all, but with the people we have in, it's not a mainstream gym, it is a private gym.
Yeah.
We look at the measurements.
Yeah.
The shoulders, the chest, the waist, the hips, the calves, the biceps, the thighs. We see those numbers. We look at body fat. Are those numbers going up or down, whichever based on the goal?
Yeah.
But we don't want to do it with PEDs. We want to do it with the right diet, the right habits.
That's a bit like cheating in business, isn't it? Right. So male leadership, let's go on about that. That's what the podcast was. I think this is essential here, because when we talk about business, I love business because you can measure the stats. In fact, the reason I got into business was because of bodybuilding. Bodybuilding was just about how far can I push myself. And what I started to learn then was it was the psychology of being addicted to it. The reason I spoke about Grant Cardone, by the way, is because of I totally went side questing there, is the Be Obsessed or Be Average book that he's got. He's moved his obsession away from the whole Manosphere stuff that we saw on Netflix to what happens when I become an entrepreneur instead. Not an entrepreneur for the show, for the gram, for TikTok, an entrepreneur because you want to make an impact. And the guy's got like $1 billion portfolio now in property. Let's learn from the right people, right? I mean, the guy in Miami even said, I don't know how Netflix was trying to portray him or anything, but he even said, like, I'm here in my place in Miami. These people are bigger than me, and that's a good input there into his mindset. But the
thing is, with him, you can see he wants what they've got. Yeah. So he's trying to push what he can do to strive for better. Yeah. With him, I felt like he was portrayed probably in a better light than the others. He just said, well, this is what I do in my personal life. And yes, he knows it's a way of getting more views and more likes and more subscribers and more signups. But his was more from the basis of a business. I felt he was trying to strive for more. And then they met his family, and then you saw.
But mate, if you look for anyone's demons, you find them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what Louis Theroux is really, really good at. He's finding that demon and just sitting there silent until it comes out and the trip up.
Yeah, and the thing he's very good at is he asks the question and leaves it silent. Yeah. He lets them essentially trip over themselves. So here you go, here's a question. They try to over-explain it. Then they realize they might have made themselves look silly. And they go again, and they keep going and keep going. And that is what he is great at. Yeah.
So what do you think what does you've got an idea of there. He's probably the most entrepreneurial male role model in that place, but every person on that show would have a different audience, and this is what I think is really critical that they missed out on there. Right, is that this isn't just all one category. This is an entrepreneurial manosphere. This is a almost Love Island style manosphere, right? So the different audiences will resonate with that, and it is questionable, right? So as a man in business, then, Mike, what did that show leave you thinking about who you need to become?
Well, the fact that it infuriated me so much at the start, it gave me clarity as to what I represent, and not just as a business, but as a partner, as a father. Is that what I want to represent me? And do I want to change the world for a better way of living? And I want to leave this world better than the way I came into it. I want my daughters to not suffer at the hands of people like this. I want my sons, my stepsons, to not follow these people. So I've got to become a better example for my family. But it's not so much for anybody else. If I can succeed with my family, I succeed with other people.
Yeah, but you look at HS Tiki Toki on there, right? That's what he wanted too. So what goes wrong? I mean, you're both saying you want the same thing, but what the fuck's different?
Well, his very much an extreme end of it. He's right at the top of this manosphere movement, and he doesn't. Pardon?
Social media is rewarding him.
Yes, and this is the algorithm that is kicking in and allowing it to happen. But we've got to be a bigger voice, and that's why the Man to Men podcast is here, to try and offer a different perspective. And we want to speak to people that are in business, are influencers themselves, and what they think of the manosphere and how far they would go for it. Because I know there's places I won't go. That's just me. I want to do it my way, and I want to do it what I perceive the right way, and I won't go to the extremes, because I have values that I want to pass down to my kids, and I want to be a good man for my partner. Yeah. And I want to be a good man for the people that come into my gym. If I have a very female-led clientele, if I started having my perception be a misogynistic pig, I lose most of my business. Yeah. And certainly the males that I have on my online coaching plans, I want them to lead like a king. Train like a warrior, lead like a king is our kind of mantra on one of our plans.
Right. Well, something that I see a lot with you, because I'm the mentor to mentors, right? That's what we do on mentalbusiness.com, and we've put your TV show up on there now that a lot of people are starting to get a lot of traction with soon, with the other mentors. Yours is about to go live in the next couple of weeks. And when we were filming it, I said, Mike, what's it really about? Like, what is the main message we want this as the director as such? What do we want it to get across? And he went, well, it's a bit like Spartan 300. And then I like the idea of it's a bit like Kingsman, the movie. It's a bit of both. Now, when we say 300, people get it.
It's very fitnessy.
You watch that film, it's very fitnessy, loads of shredded guys. None of them are out there doing all, well, probably reality in real world now, back in the we don't know. But let's think about the film, right? It's a king, his family, his community, his wife, his kids.
The key takeaway
is there supporting the king.
I've done a video on YouTube about this, and it's being servant-hearted. Yeah, he was serving his people and serving his country. He gave the ideology of the film is he gave his life for what he believed in and to defend what he loved.
Yeah, what's his name now? 300.
Leonidas. King Leonidas. So yeah, I'm sad.
No, I think it's great. It's great. Yeah, but it was a film in our day, mate.
Yeah. So I look at that, and he's servant-hearted, and he gave his best to protect the people he loved and what he held dear.
Yeah.
And I believe a true leader and a true man is servant-hearted to the people around him, because he knows if he gives the best of himself, people will follow and give the best of themselves. So I serve my family. I give the best of myself every single day to make sure my family is served.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're leading with ego, it's about you. If you're servant-hearted, it's about the people around you. And these people on Manosphere are very ego-driven. So, look how many likes I've got. Look how much money I'm making. Blah, blah, blah. I've done this. I've done that. Not once did you say, I've helped this person, or this person's really helped. I've really helped this person. They didn't care about the people they were helping. It was just a figure, a like, a subscriber, another £10,000. But for me, to lead better within myself, yeah, I might make £10,000. But from the fitness aspect, who have I helped? How have I helped them?
Yeah. Yeah.
How have they become better because of what I've done? Or how has life improved for them? As entrepreneurs, we're constantly looking for pain points to solve.
Yeah.
Yes, it is in the goal to make money, but ultimately we want to change things for the better for who's around us.
And this is the thing, mate. I mean, what are we left with after we've gone?
Exactly.
That's the deep question. And this is the question I always say to my clients when they first come on and they're acting like Johnny Big Bollocks about how many hours they work. And I'm like, it's not about how many hours you work. It's what's the output of that. What are you paying yourself in dividend as compared to a 9 to 5 job? Because the 9 to 5 job is what they've been taught through education, right? Yeah. Go and get a job, go and get 9 to 5. And then your success comes from how much money you make in that 9 to 5. Well, if you want to make more money, do more hours. Complete bullshit. Business owners, entrepreneurs get paid from dividends. You get paid from dividends. And that dividend is correlated to the amount of revenue that you make, your GP and your net profit. Yeah. And that revenue that you make is correlated to the biggest impact that you have on people's lives. So revenue equals impact. Now, the dividend that you get paid at the end of it is what's coming back into your family. And what you do with that is the memories that you create with the families that you get left behind forever when you are fucking dead.
Yeah.
So why else would you want to do stuff about ego, about how great you are? I mean, there's a different context. The guy was really lovely, but you're in the fitness world, mate. You remember Joey Aesthetics?
Oh, yeah.
Blonde guy, really, European guy, lovely guy. And I was like, he's a great example here of male role model. He obviously gets the attention because of all his muscles, and he's a nice guy, and he did a lot of funny videos, and then he's dead. And now I go through and clear out my Instagram people I'm following, and I see him there. His last video was there, and I'm like, okay, I need to unfollow this person now. And that's it. Gone. Yeah. What have you left behind?
Exactly. And the way I look at it is, have I helped people live better? Have I helped them? Have I helped solve a problem within their lives that they can pass then on to their children and their social circles? But for me, mainly is my legacy of my kids. They will pass on the messages I pass on to them.
Yeah.
Do I want them to be ego-driven? Absolutely not. Do I want them to be servant-hearted? Yeah, I really do. I want them to help people. Because that, for me, if you help more people, the world becomes a better place. Right. And God forbid, the world needs people like that now. So me personally, I leave my legacy with my children. And then the people I help, they're part of that legacy.
But Mike, I'm going to put my doctor's hat on there and take the business hat off, right? HS Tiki-Toki was saying the same thing. He honestly believes, and not to say he's wrong, but similar to coaching and working with people in business and coaching in fitness, right? Because we're both coaches. That's kind of like saying to a fitness person, I want to have the ideal beach body, but the behavior is I'm sitting in fucking KFC before I even come to the gym, it's not going to be congruent to the person you are. And what that's going to lead to is more psychological disruption.
Mm-hmm.
It's
but
not,
the thing
it's
is,
not correct. Like it's like,
it's this moral standpoint though of boundaries. It's like, yes, they could bring in kids to the world. Who's the woman they're choosing to do it with?
Mm.
You've got to ask the question, is this woman strong enough to be able to tolerate this behavior?
Right.
If it's a strong woman, I guarantee they're not going to tolerate it, and they're going to toe the line.
Mm.
Because I know if I stepped out of the line, my missus would let me know it.
Oh yeah.
I'll
laugh at that. You've met her.
As far as I'm concerned, as soon as I step away from work and I'm walking in the house, I'm not the boss.
Yeah, well, okay then, right. So this isn't my belief, by the way, just to position that. But a lot of manosphere, masculinity men would turn around and go, no, man of the house, bread bring. You know, they're the one that brings in the income. The women are there. Yeah, they've got a good job to do, and it's to look after the children and stuff like that, mate. I'll tell you now, I believed that bullshit once in my life.
Mm.
My wife was not in a good place. And I thought, well, but I'm doing everything I can as a man. And this is like the non-toxic masculinity. I thought, well, I'm doing a great thing. I'm going out there. I'm working long hours. I'm bringing more money into the family. And then it was getting worse and worse and worse. And I had a good friend of mine call me up and went, Lewis, you think you're doing right and you're confused. I'm not confused. I'm really clear. He says, no, you get the option to go to work. If you want to change your job tomorrow, you can.
Yeah.
Your wife that is at home looking after your children is a mom, and she can't do nothing about that. Mm. She loves being mom, by the way. I'm not saying anything different.
That's the hardest job in the world.
But it's the hardest job in the world. Mm. And I'm like, shit, my shit is broken. Now, I had somebody in my life tell me that. What if I didn't?
Exactly. Someone held you to account.
Yeah, I'm being very vulnerable there, by the way, mate. But you know,
yeah. To be honest, I was in the same boat. But the problem is, my relationship with my ex-wife fell apart because I thought I was being servant-hearted by throwing myself into work. I was never at home. I never saw her, and it broke down. Without learning from that and being held to account, going, this is why it's broken down, I would never have grown and gone, I'm taking my eye off the ball here. I thought I was doing a good thing.
Yeah.
And without being held to account, I would just carried on. And this is what these manosphere people are doing. They're not being held to account. They've got yes men around them, bigging them up. And if you had a male figure there, I'm not saying a female figure wouldn't do it, but a male figure would probably be a bit more assertive with them and stand up to their ego and go, who do you think you are? You can't behave like this. So I know if my daughter's got treated like that as a father, there would be hell to pay. And I would feel the same about, we've got a very tight-knit community here in the gym. If I felt one of my clients was being treated badly, I would stand up and defend them. I would defend anybody in the high street if they were being treated badly. I go, hang on a minute, what's going on? It's not that these people are necessarily, they've got a good mind really with business and with figures and data, but they haven't got a good mind with their morals and principles and being held to account. They've got yes men. And that's what ego, and human history has taught us this so many times, where prosperity has led to like people like Nero that's fallen, Commodus after Marcus Aurelius in the Roman times. They've come into prosperity and it's tumbled around them. Their ego has taken over and it has tumbled around them.
So this is a thing repeated in history, right? This is the whole.
No, it's not. You look at Donald Trump. You could attribute it to Donald Trump. He's leading with ego and he's going at everything, thinking it the way he is, and he thinks he's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people will agree with him and disagree with him, but ultimately,
it's isn't it? They honestly think they're doing the right thing because they want to help their family. I mean, the guy sorry, I don't remember his name, but he's he's very famous. It was almost like a tick list of what does success look like for man. Nice car. I mean, his car was beautiful, by the way. You know, I'm a Lamborghini fan. It was beautiful. It's going to look bad on Lamborghini, by the way, of the way Netflix have done this. So I'll get some of the Lamborghini people to come on and give a different opinion of what it takes to actually own a Lamborghini and not be like that, shall I? So
yeah, definitely.
So he's got the tick list, like nice car, nice house, nice wife, women want him, nice business, money, a partner. It's kind of like, this is the perfect man. Tick, 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 tick in his world, by the way. I saw your face there. Tick, 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 tick. It's kind of just, you're just ticking off the list of what perfection is in his mind.
But what is a nice house? What is a nice car? What is all this?
Right.
It's the need for validation, external validation.
No, I don't agree.
Their ego needs feeding.
Agree. No, I disagree with that, mate.
I certainly find that, I don't mind, you know, if you've got a nice car, great. I'd love an Aston Martin. I would love an Aston Martin.
Beautiful.
Love the James Bond theme. But when people have a need for it, if you've worked hard for it and you can have it, absolutely go for it. You've earned your stripes and you've worked hard to get that thing. But if that's a need for you, that's validation. You need that to make yourself feel better. It's not a reward for good work or hard work, and I've gone through the ringer to get this.
Yeah,
that's a be all and end all. I've got a nice car. What happens when you've got the car?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, here's why I didn't agree with you, mate, because I do agree with what you're saying there, and this is what I don't agree with. Okay, so I'm a part of a bunch of very high level doctors that come across in, you know, psychiatry as well as some of them, and we have debates together. And the one doctor the other day, he works with a lot of celebrities, a lot of, you know, very, very millionaires, billionaires. He was talking about, we said to him, how do you solve male depression? Because male depression, suicide, it's very serious. We all know with people that we've lost, mate. We won't go down that rabbit hole. But that's the dark side of what happens here if this manosphere continues. Because you saw a glimpse of the bodybuilder guys on the beach, and they said about depression and suicide and things, and why having a male role model, whoever it may be, whether it's them or if it's someone else, is really important. But it's the male role model thing that they're looking at here.
Yeah.
So when I was speaking to this professor in psychiatry, I says, well, how do you stop it then? You know, could we put some sort of course together to stop male suicide? And he went, well, the biggest thing that he's found to combat these negative thoughts is that if you relate to a world where you never had pressures of business, never had pressures of relationships, never had pressures of what do people think of you, never had pressures of, because these are the core things, right, that we see. I mean, people don't always want, if you look at your reviews, Mike, on your website, they all say, I feel more confident. I'm so much more confident. I'm confident. I'm so much more confident. Confidence is 90% of the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Go back to a world where you didn't have all these pressures, and I'm talking about when you was a kid. So one of these psychiatrists tried something as a bit of a therapy session to go, well, tell me about a world when you didn't have all these pressures, and what did you do for fun? And he said, well, I like having a greenhouse and growing plants with my grandparents and stuff like that, and I just loved it. That's what I'd do every day. So long story short, he went away and started growing plants again. I mean, this was a very successful entrepreneur. He started growing plants again, and he started to feel a lot happier. Not say cure, not a cure, by the way. This was just started to combat, to make happiness start to rise.
Yeah.
Now, when I look back to when I was a kid, XJ220 on my wall. I love the sound of the cars.
Ferrari F40 as well.
Ferrari F40, F50. And I like that. And since I've owned, so this is going to make me look like Manosphere, but I love the fact that I've got a Lamborghini that I can get the kids out in the back and go for journeys and go and meet other Lamborghini owners together. We don't talk about business. We don't talk about ego. We talk about, oh, mate, have you changed that exhaust on your car? Oh, yeah, have you tried these tires? Have you tried that mode? And we're just like a bunch of big kids again. And we're like, you know, I'm 40, they're 50, 60, and some 30-year-olds in there. I'm like, this isn't Manosphere. This is just a bunch of people having fun.
But that is, you've worked hard for it.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
What's the problem with enjoying the fruits of your labor?
Yeah.
You know, it shouldn't be the need to have it. You wanted it, you worked your backside off, and you got it. Now you can go and do those things, feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
Like for me, I used to go and play football with my mates. I'm 39 now. I'm far too old to play competitively, especially with my hamstrings. I go play veterans football. It's not really competitive, it's there for a laugh, or I go play golf.
Yeah.
And I do things that I did when I was a kid. I went out and played sports. I sometimes don't hold it against me. I play on the PlayStation still. I used to play Crash Bandicoot. I bought it, and I still play Crash Bandicoot now, because it makes me feel like a kid. And you know what? To some people, having a PlayStation is an absolute win. So I want to buy myself a PlayStation, so I buy myself a PlayStation. You've worked hard, you save your money, you get it. Exactly. It's different stages.
It'll always be there. So a lot of these Manosphere people, I mean, I think I saw, it might be an Andrew Tate or something like that, saying if you watch Dragon Ball Z, you're a nerd and you're never going to be a real man. Man, I love Dragon Ball Z. I grew up with it. I love cars. I love PlayStation, and I still do all that now. You know, I said to Anna the other day that so what we're going to do, like, we keep just becoming more entrepreneurial. We've got all these businesses and we're investing in them. I said, do you know what? I'll still come home and I'll play my PlayStation.
Thing is, men grow old, they never grow up. Yeah. And it's almost they're trying to get young men to grow up.
Yeah, like, but they're not grown up themselves.
Exactly. They're 23. They've never experienced life. You've never been there to see the birth of your child. You've never seen adversity. Like, seeing the birth of my first daughter was the absolute, I didn't know it was a dream of mine until it actually happened. And then it was just,
it scares the shit out of me as well.
Everything just kind of fell into place and goes,
yeah,
I don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
I have to be there for this child.
Yeah.
And even though me and my ex-wife aren't together, everything is about our children. We collaborate, we communicate. And that goes all walks of life. If you collaborate and communicate, especially in relationships, that could have ended a really horrible breakup.
Yeah.
But we get on better than we ever have done because we communicate. Back then, we never did.
Yeah.
So we've both learned from it. And like, I'm able to bring the best of myself to being a parent, being a collaborative ex-partner, a partner for my fiance, and in business, I'm able to collaborate better with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know what's right and I know what I'm serving, and that's not me. I try to make extra money, but it's not for the good of necessarily building an empire or something. It's to build the empire of my family and be able to give myself the opportunity to be with my family. And like you say, go buy myself an Aston and take my kids out.
Do it. And
that's what I want to do.
I know a lot of people that also, because when I first sit with somebody that's with the business coaching context, I will ask them, what are your goals in life? And they will say, oh, I love an Aston, racing green and things like that. I'm like, okay, I'll get you one. And then when we get to the point that they can now get one, guess what? There is some excuse of why they can't get it. Oh, not yet. I'll just wait a little bit while. Or, I'm like, no, you said you were getting it. Get it. Not because of your ego, but because it's a milestone goal that you can tick off to say that you've put that fucking hard work in to achieve it. Like this doctor title on this podcast right now, right? Someone said to us the other day, was with them, I don't need a doctor title to strap my ego. And for me, I'm like, well, it's easy to say that if you haven't got one, because I've had quite a few people say that, right? But what they don't see is the 7 years that I've put into it. My kids were born and are 6 years old now. And they say, well, how many hours does it take to do it? I went, thousands. Yeah. Literally days and days and weeks and weeks. And for every day that I haven't seen my kid to achieve that doctor title so that I can tattoo it on that gravestone in front of my name when I'm gone, I think I didn't see my kid during their younger years because I was working away on a doctorate in the background, or I was working long hours, or I was working the weekend. Mate, you've got 16 to 18 Christmases with that kid.
Exactly.
Think about that. That's all there is.
Yeah.
Before they're off doing Manosphere shit.
Yeah, exactly that. What do you want them to come back every Christmas and go, oh, I love being with my family? Or do you want them to be off?
Dad was never there. He was always working.
Yeah, do you want them to be off doing all this, that, and the other? You want them to respect what you've done and go, you know what? Even though they worked hard, they were still there for me. And those kids can go, like, for me, the greatest out of this world would be, you know, my dad was a good bloke and he looked after me.
Mm.
And he's made me, he helped drive me to be something better. But he was there. Yeah. He was there at my golf lessons or my football matches, or he was there at my assemblies at school.
Yeah.
They remember that. They don't remember all the other stuff. They remember you.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. And that's what success is for me.
Well, that's very similar to what we said about if you want the fit back in your fitness world, if you want that fit body and you want to be that person. I mean, fitness for me isn't about like ego and looking. Well, yeah, I want to look good. I want to feel good. I've got one body. Why not? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then also the main reason I do it, you hate cardio, mate. Yeah, I hated cardio.
We all hate cardio, but we have to do it.
But the reason I like cardio now is for every day I do cardio, it's putting an extra day on my life. And every day that I do that is another day that I get to spend with my kids when I'm 80, 90. Because I'm at the age now where I'm losing like 80-year-old, 90-year-old family members. And the ones that are still there now, that have managed to live till 90, I've got memories with. So my granddad, one of my granddad passed away in his 50s of a heart attack. He smoked and stuff like that. A lot of stress. He passed away, and I only met him till I was like 6 or 7 years old. Now my other granddad lived till he was 86, and I've got like 35 years memories with him. So again, if you know these people on the Manosphere show and HOS Tiki Toki was saying that, you know, this is for my kids and I want the best for them in the future, just like what we're saying. It's very similar to you saying, come and get a fit body, but their actual behavior is they're sitting in KFC. Yeah.
Well, the framing that we try and do is
they need to have the right behavior.
Do you want to go and play in the soft play with your kids? Do you want to be able to be in there with you? Come on, Dad, come in here and let's do this. I struggle in a soft play because it's too small. But you know what? I'm in there.
Yeah, my daughter was stuck in the other day. She was stuck in the tunnel. I had to go in after her. I'm glad I'm not overweight and I'm fit because she was upset. I've got a question on TikTok, mate. Manosphere is rage bait to double their audience. Tell truths that affect most and then sell a lie. Done. I'm pinning that post. Brilliant. Thank you for that post. What do you think?
Let's face it, we're all talking about it. And who's at the end of our tongues at the moment? HS Tiki Toki, Andrew Tate, and the others. I think there's an Ed Williams in there. We're all talking about it. So they're at the forefront of everyone's thoughts. And yeah, they're going to get a bigger following.
Yeah.
But
are they losing followers now, by the way, or are they gaining? Because it's more awareness, right?
From what I've seen, I can't say for definite, but I think they've lost some. But no matter how bad you could be, you're still going to get followers.
Someone said he's actually in jail now.
Well, I think he's arrested when he came back to the UK. That Tiki Toki.
No license and insurance, believe it or not. But...
Oh, surprise.
According to TikTok, don't quote me on that. That's not evidence-based. I'm a doctor. I shouldn't be saying
But I can't say for definite whether he's... But what he's lost is credibility. People are more aware of him. I've never heard of HS Tiki Toki. But I'm aware of him now, and I dislike him. I dislike what he stands for. He could be in behind closed doors. He could be a really nice guy.
Take away hate, like and dislike, right? And just put fame and visibility there. He's now grown more visibility, and that there. As much as I don't agree with what he's doing as a business person, an entrepreneur, and social media marketer, etc., he's a very clever guy.
Yeah,
right? He's very clever in what he's doing. I think he could be. They all are.
He could be a really good asset to a lot of high-end people. But he's doing it himself, and fair play to him.
Yeah.
But at what cost?
Yeah, the comments are just saying that they will profit from positive or negative, mate. So attention is attention in the world. Men like them are why other men won't talk about their emotions. Jinx, you just commented that. Go back and listen to the start of this podcast, because that is exactly what we're talking about in this show. And I'd love for you to get your thoughts on what this is about. But yeah, absolutely. This is what we've been speaking about. For those that are just joining us now, we've been speaking about what does real mentoring look like then? What does having a fatherly figure in your life really look like? If the manosphere has painted out that masculinity, bad, it's toxic masculinity, actually, Mike, that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Then what does good look like? What does great look like? And that's the absence of where we're at from this show that was hosted.
For me, it's communication. It's having an arm around the shoulder.
Yeah. Asking
a question, are you okay? Like, my old man wouldn't have ever done that necessarily. He would do it in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
But it was there. We've had our falling out and whatever, but as a kid, he would just take me out. We'd go out for a drive and we'd talk. We'd talk about everything. We'd talk about nothing. But the fact is, I was there with my dad, and I remember those times. No matter how bad it got in adult life, I remember that I was with my dad and we were having those talks about anything and nothing. It doesn't really matter. He was present and was able to communicate with me. And he was a very clever man. He could probably have fed some subliminal messaging in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I remember those times of communicating.
The comment here saying that men like them are why other men won't talk about their emotions. They're scared to be called a simp.
See, I can see why they would say that. Absolutely. Me, on a personal level, I will talk about my emotions all day, every day. It makes me a man. It makes, if I can open up.
What ever led to a man not being able to talk about emotion? Well, I mean,
I think it's certainly in the UK and the English stiff upper lip kind of thing. You get on with it, and it's just kind of bury all your emotions down. Exactly. And to me, man up is own up to what you're feeling. If you're feeling sad, I'm not feeling very good today. I had an instance last night. I was stood with my fiance Kelly, and I said, I'm having a bit of a wobble today. I'm feeling a bit anxious. I broke down, and she came over, gave me a hug. That's all I needed to do. And I felt within 30 seconds like that, 100 times better, because I spoke to the woman I love. I said how I felt, and it fixed how I felt at that time. And she was able to offer me comfort and solace.
Yeah.
If you can do that and communicate, it's all about communicating how you feel.
Yeah. And again, that's why we're talking on the Mental Business podcast. So all these comments, by the way, that I'm reading out, you are all going to be on the podcast. So give it spot it on Spotify. Spot it on Spotify. Follow it on Spotify if you want to listen back to this. So read out some comments here. So you guys are disagreeing with the manosphere. Yes. In short, we are disagreeing with it, but we're also debating what does good look like. Boys don't cry, that's why. Misogyny made it so men couldn't feel safe to open up. Then misogyny blamed it on women. Real men are weak in their masculinity. Interesting comments, right?
They are very interesting.
Commenting, by the way, and engaging on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube.
So, real men, weak masculinity. What defines weak masculinity? What defines strong masculinity? I think you're looking at the individual. If you're looking at traditional thought processes around like strong masculinity, excuse me, what does that look like? Going onto the battlefield, being at the forefront of all struggle. We go through a struggle every single day. Some people find it hard to wake up in the morning. Some people hard to go into the gym, hard to get to work. Being a strong man is by fighting your own thoughts and going, yeah, I'm going to go do it today, and repeat and rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
Well, and women, right?
Yeah, women.
This is about manosphere, right? And
to be honest, like I said before, I think some of the strongest people I know are women. Because they have to go through so much more than men. Like, I've taught PTs, I've taught personal trainers to be personal trainers before. And when you're talking about the difference with the physiology of a man and a woman, And I always I've put the skeletons up, male skeleton, female skeleton. And I went, the female skeleton and the female body is built for far more punishment than a male skeleton. They go through so much more. The changes they go through.
And a lot of your audience is female as well, yeah.
Yeah, so you're looking at the female body and the female physiology. They go through a hell of a lot more than what a man does.
Yeah.
So you can't say a weak man, a weak woman, whatever, because it's down to the individual, how they cope, how they communicate with those things. And I don't think there's you can't really pigeonhole everybody as being a weak masculine character or a strong masculine character.
Yeah.
For that person, it can be individual based on their own experiences and what they're going through at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the comments right now, all those men kept talking about the manosphere, they're referring to, about what we want, and hell no, do we want men like that? Obviously, from a female. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I'm on board. I'm on board.
If I was gay, I wouldn't want men like that either. So you're not alone. All those men kept talking about what we want. I'll read that one out. I rarely show emotions. It's not because of bravado. I just see things in a logical way.
And I think, on the whole, I look at it at my own personal level. I'm a problem solver. So I try and break all the problems down and be logical about it. Say, what can I fix today? And you fix them. And I think men in some ways are a bit more logical, where they go, let's problem solve. What's the next problem? What's the next problem? What's the next problem? It's when the problems keep mounting up, and you haven't got enough time to solve, or there's no visible solution at that time.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, being logical, but there's still going to be a point where it becomes quite an insurmountable task to fix all those problems.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's wrap this up then, this podcast. We've gone on for an hour already. Appreciate all the comments that everyone's made. Mental Business Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. We're all live. We're on live on LinkedIn as well. So I see these feedback coming through live on TikTok and Instagram. The LinkedIn stuff as well. Let's wrap it up then, mate. Biggest lessons from today, and how can people in business, as this was men-based, we've got a lot of women-based in here as well. What are the biggest takeaways from today that you'll take forward into your business and entrepreneur life, Mike?
Well, based on the Manosphere, I know where I've got to go in clarity-wise with the morals and principles and what I hold. Which boundaries will I push? Will I go to an extreme level, or will I toe the course and stick with what I can pass on? And how do I communicate and collaborate more with my team, with my family, to keep moving forward? Because ultimately, they're on the journey with you. If they're not on the journey with you, then you're going to be hamstrung. You've got to be communicative and collaborative with those people around you. Like in the team here, whether it be the clientele or in the office, if they're not on board with what you're doing, you're not going to move forward as quick as you want.
Yeah.
And by being servant-hearted and leading by serving the people around you, they will buy into what your vision is.
Which is the opposite what you saw at Manosphere.
Yeah, it's not ego-driven, it's servant-driven.
Yeah. Like 300.
Like
300. Leonidas loves his wife. His wife is the queen.
Yeah.
Loves his family, loves his community, loves his country.
You look at all the strongest characters in movies, and they've always got a wife or a child that they're essentially going through adversity for. I'm a Lord of the Rings nerd. Look at the main king in that. He doesn't want power, but he knows he's got to take it to save the people.
Yeah.
It's a very normal ideology that has been written from the start of time. Like you can take it back
to on TikTok saying exactly the same thing you're saying right now. And I love it that everyone's resonating with this. And
the thing is, you can go back to religion. You could go back to the story of Christ, and I'm not a religious person, but the story of Christ is based on that. So, you know, these are all servant-hearted that help the people and led the people. And you do this in your personal life, in your professional life. If your vision's much bigger to help the masses, brilliant. But serve the people, don't serve yourself. Because as soon as you start serving yourself, all the things you've built, the foundations will shake and fall.
Right.
So I hope that's helped.